Happy Sunday night, guys, or whenever you listen to this. Hi, I'm Mike Matthews. I'm the host and pastor of Limping for Jesus. I wanted to do a special message for tonight. This is our fourth episode of the year. We're kind of on a mini break right now. We're retooling and getting new guests for the future. But I want to do a special episode called Don't Be a Jerk for Jesus. Guys, we make Christianity so hard for people when we are gatekeepers and we are rude. And we are not called to be Bible thumpers. We're not called to point fingers at people. We are called to do three things: love God, love people, and don't be a jerk. And I get this from the greatest commandment. In Matthew chapter 22, verse 34 reads, "But when the Pharisees heard that he had silenced the Sadducees, they gathered together, and one of them asked him a question to test him. 'Teacher, which is the greatest commandment in the law?' He said to them, 'You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. This is the great and first commandment.' And in verse 29, and a second is like it: 'You shall love your neighbor as yourself.' On these two commandments depend all the law and the prophets. Guys, if you want to be a good Christian, love Jesus, love people, don't be a jerk. We do those three things and we are hitting home runs out in the park. God has a kingdom agenda. He wants to advance his kingdom through the church, one person at a time. And we do this by simply being those three things, living out your faith and not being a gatekeeper. Be a grace giver. In Luke chapter 10, in Luke chapter 10, we read about the Good Samaritan, the parable of the Good Samaritan. Let's read it together. If I can find it. Okay. The parable of the Good Samaritan, starting in Luke 10, verses 25. "Behold, a lawyer stood up to put him to the test, saying, 'Teacher, what shall I do to inherit eternal life?' He said to them, 'What is written in the law? How do you read it?' He answered, 'You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, and with all your soul, and with all your strength, and with all your mind, and your neighbor as yourself.' And he said to him, 'You have answered correctly. Do this and you will live.'" Do you hear what Jesus is saying? You prove that you are a disciple by the way you love. Love proves that you have salvation. But he, desiring to justify himself, said to Jesus, "Who is my neighbor?" Jesus replied, "A man was going down from Jerusalem to Jericho. He fell among robbers, who stripped him and beat him and departed, leaving him half dead. Now, by chance, a priest was going down that road, and when he saw him, he passed by on the other side. So likewise, a Levite, when he came to that place and saw him, passed by on the other side. But a Samaritan," now listen, all these religious people walked by this guy who was beat up by robbers. And in Jesus' day, Samaritans and the Jews hated each other. So this is the context. This is why this is a whopper of a passage for him talking to these Pharisees, because the guys who should know God, who should be loving, are not. And this Samaritan shows up. Okay. Verse 33. "But a Samaritan, as he journeyed, came to where he was, and when he saw him, he had compassion. He went to him and bound up his wounds, pouring oil and wine. Then he set him on his own animal and brought him to an inn and took care of him. In verse 35. And the next day he took out 2 denarii and gave them to the innkeeper, saying, "Take care of him, and whatever more you spend, I will repay you when I come back." Which of these three do you think proved to be the neighbor to the man who fell among the robbers? He said, "The one who showed him mercy." And Jesus said to him, "You go and do likewise." Guys, you go and do likewise. Love Jesus, love people, don't be a jerk. That is what we have to do to be the hands and feet of Jesus. So I pray that this short message of a short podcast episode will bless you and encourage you to get out there and go and do likewise. Be like the Samaritan and not a religious toll bag. Okay? Get out there, live love, keep limping for Jesus, never give up. God bless, guys. Have a great Sunday night, and I pray that this week you have an amazing Monday kick off to your week, and that you never give up because God has our back and we are His children. And I just pray that this video will encourage you more to be the kind of Christian who's a grace giver and not a gatekeeper. God bless, guys. Until next time, peace.